I was about 10 years old. We lived in a long, narrow house with attached buildings on both sides. My bedroom was on the third floor. My window looked directly into the house behind ours. The buildings were so close that I could clearly see the room across from me. The distance was no more than 4 meters. Most of the time, there was no one at that window. But sometimes, out of curiosity, I would look. One day, there really was someone there, a girl, about my age. She had blonde, curly hair tied in a ponytail. The other thing I remember is that she was wearing a purple sweater. She waved at me. I waved back. Then she stepped away from the window frame. After that day, every afternoon when I came home from school, we would wave at each other. At exactly 3 p.m., she was always there, as if she was waiting, and she always wore the same purple sweater. We played games through the windows. She would draw something. I would guess what it was. I showed her my drawings. She would use her fingers to show if she liked it or not. On hot days, I opened my window and tried to talk to her, but she never opened hers. She only smiled and pointed to her ear, as if to say she could not hear me. I assumed her family was strict about keeping the windows closed. One day I asked my mother about that house. She said that the Mays lived there, an elderly couple with no children. I told her about the girl. She said maybe their grandchildren were visiting. That answer made me sad because I knew that meant she would leave one day, but she did not leave. Almost every day, at the same time she was there. We played for about an hour until she disappeared from the window. A few weeks later, I woke up around midnight to a tapping sound. I walked to my window and realized it was her. She was standing at her window, which was strange because I had never seen her at night before. She was not smiling like usual. She pointed downward at something I could not see. Then she joined her hands together like she was begging. I did not understand what she wanted, but I was scared. I went back to my bed. The tapping continued for a little while, then it stopped. After that, she did not appear for 4 days. I started to think that I had upset her by ignoring her. Then, on the 5th night, the tapping woke me again. This time, both of her hands were pressed against the glass. Her mouth was moving, like she was trying to say something, but I could not hear her because the window was closed. Her breath was fogging the glass. That was strange because it was early June and the weather was warm. She kept forming the same words with her lips. To be honest, it looked like she was saying, "Help me." Then she stepped back, and I saw something that terrified me. On her purple sweater, there was a dark stain, like paint or mud. I ran to my parents' room in fear. My father came to my room and looked out the window, but there was no one there. My family convinced me that it was just a nightmare and told me to go back to sleep. The next afternoon, when the girl did not appear at the window, I climbed over the fence into the backyard and saw Mrs. May. I smiled and waved. Even though we had never properly met, she seemed happy to see me. I asked her about the girl in the third-floor room. She stopped smiling. She dropped what she was holding and stepped closer to the fence. The sudden change in her face scared me. She asked me how long I had been seeing the girl. I said a few weeks. She asked how the girl looked. I described her blonde hair, her purple sweater, and how she never opened the window. Then Mrs. May told me to go inside. After that day, many things changed. That same night, my parents moved my bed to the opposite wall. They hung thick curtains over my window, heavy curtains that blocked all the light. When I asked why, they said it would help me sleep better, but something was clearly wrong. The next day, on the way home from school, my mother told me that I could not play the waving game anymore. When I asked why, she said I believed I was seeing imaginary friends. I told her she was not imaginary. I had seen her for months. My mother only repeated that I was not allowed to go to the window anymore. I was confused and honestly hurt. No one would explain anything to me. My friend was gone. She never appeared at the window again. My family behaved as if I had done something wrong just by seeing her. I could not even express my feelings to them. The only way I resisted was by going to the window. About a year later, we moved away. My mother finally told me the truth when I was in high school, or rather, what Mrs. May had told her. Apparently, the previous owners had a daughter named Henna. She was 9 or 10 years old when she died in an accident right in front of the house. It happened shortly after school. And on that unlucky day, she was wearing a purple sweater. The family moved away not long after. When the Moys bought the house, they tried to use the third-floor room, but strange things kept happening. In the end, they completely sealed it. My mother did not know the details. She only said that Mrs. May was always very spiritual. I am 34 years old now. I live in a house where the windows do not face other buildings. That is not a coincidence. I have developed a kind of phobia toward windows and reflective surfaces. Over the years, I have had a few dreams about the girl in the window. They are never nightmares. I never see the stain on her sweater like that night, but in my dreams, she does not smile the way she used to. This will always remain one of those disturbing experiences that has no explanation.